Hey everybody, Mike Miller, Herald Times, Dateline Montreal. I'm in Montreal checking out the IU men's basketball team. Uh, been up here for a couple days. Really cool city. I've been relying on public transportation to get around. Had a couple hiccups tonight. Got told I couldn't get on the bus for some reason. I guess I was trying to pay in coins. Whatever. So it was a bit of a hectic travel thing post game to get back to the hotel, but here I am, have a beautiful view of something by the airport. I don't know. Um, but anyway, got to check out the 2014-15 edition of the Indiana Hoosiers men's basketball team. They won tonight, 110-70 over Laval University. A game that was close for about a quarter, and then I was clearly the more talented, more skilled basketball team. The way I put it in my story was, Laval was savvy. Could tell they understood the game at a high level. They, had some really good ball movement, had one or two guys who could really throw it in. But other than that, it was all Indiana. But before we get to the game, the big news of today, the real news, the real story is the fact that we learned before the game that Hunter Mosquera-Perea did not make the trip. He is not here with Indiana in Montreal. He's dealing with some visa issues. Sounds like they're hoping to get it worked out. Doesn't really seem like anyone's too sure if they're going to be able to at any point in the next 5 days, but that's something that has kept Hunter from making the trip here to Montreal. And it's a really, really big blow to an Indiana team that really, really needs Hunter right now. I mean, sort of the whole point of coming up here is trying to get, everything going in the right direction come the fall. And, one way you got to do that is you got to have all your guys. And if you don't have Hunter, who's obviously, a major piece, a major ingredient to any sort of success this year, then it's a bummer, to say the least. Anyway, don't have Hunter Mosquera-Perea, and that is a big, big blow to really what they need to accomplish up here. Tom Crean said after tonight's game that, it hurts Hunter, but it's not going to hurt the team. But it definitely is not ideal. Let's just put it that way, to not have Hunter here right now with the team. IU was also without Jeremiah April tonight. April apparently hurt his ankle earlier in the week. They held him out. He did take part in a few of the pregame drills, and it sounds like, according to Tom Crean, that they're going to try to get him. They probably will get him in a few games here at some point in the next 5 days, but they didn't hold him out tonight. Also dressed but did not play was Colin Hartman. He's back after his injury last year. He was going through the pregame drills, but he's not playing any games. I think the plan is to sit him out for the duration of this trip, although we'll see what happens. But I think I did see that somewhere, that they are going to hold him out of action this trip. The game itself, as I mentioned, it was close for about a quarter. That was about it. Really, the star of the night was Troy Williams. It was, Yogi Ferrell led the team with 22 points, but it was really Troy Williams who really showed what he might be able to bring to the table this year. He was in the starting lineup. He started with Blackman, Robert Johnson, Yogi, and Nick Zeisloft, who made his IU debut, I guess you could say. That was your starting five. And Troy was the tallest IU player on the court. I think he might have been the tallest player on the court. And it was, I think he, even after the game, says, I'm not really used to, being the tallest guy on the court. He's kind of more of a guard, more of a, not really the big guy on the floor, but tonight he was. And, Laval was sort of, overmatched talent-wise, but also they're not a very big team. But Troy was really active. Troy was really, really, he was all over the place. I mean, he was leaping, he was dunking, he was, playing some pretty good defense. He was just active. I mean, the thing is, like, I wrote in my game story that, he really got, it wasn't a big crowd here tonight, but he really got some of the younger kids excited with some of his dunks. I mean, it's just incredible. You look at what that guy brings to the table athletically and just from a basketball point of view, and if and when he puts everything together, it's going to be scary, what kind of player he can become down the road. And we'll see what he sort of develops into this season. But the one thing that really stuck with me, I guess beyond all the offensive stuff he did for IU tonight with his 21 points, he got 6 rebounds, by the way. Also led the game with 5 turnovers. But the one thing that really jumped out at me and just sort of showed that he was getting active was, late in the game, he's diving on the floor. I think IU already had like a 20-point lead of some sort. He's diving on the floor after loose balls, just staying active, staying engaged with the game, just really playing hard. And, that's sort of the example that's, someone needs to set, someone needs to really buy into. Everyone needs to buy into. Speaking of setting examples, Yogi Ferrell, 22 points tonight. Yogi was clearly the leader of this team, came out from the very beginning, just sort of, he was talking, directing everybody. He was really, really showing himself to be the leader that this team needs. So all in all, it was a very impressive night from Yogi Ferrell and Troy Williams, which brings me to my next point. We had some newcomers make their debut tonight. Definitely saw James Blackman, Robert Johnson. Everyone played. Everyone who was available to play played. They played early. Not really much to make of sort of the rotations right now. Just trying to get everybody in the game. I mean, just sort of is Nick Zeisloff going to start in November? I don't know. That's to be seen. But he started tonight and looked. He was impressive. He looked like he'd been around a while. He looks like he plays like a veteran. He plays really smart. He's just seems like he's going to be a good teammate. He's got a nice stroke too. I mean, he's just smart out there. He's got a good shot. Takes good shots. I mean, he finished with 6 points, 2 for 5. All of that came from 3-point range. But a pretty nice debut from him. Saw the rest of the guys. Blackman, obviously. Blackman, kind of had an off night. Didn't get off to a great start. Never really got going. Still finished with 14 points. 0 for 4 from 3. Like I said, just never really got going. Robert Johnson, obviously, played pretty well. He had 12 points. He was another guy who sort of got off to a slow start. Never really took control or really, had any big moments that really said, hey, I'm Robert Johnson. I'm here to play basketball. But he was there, getting involved the entire game. So, there are so many expectations put on this freshman class that I don't want to call it an underwhelming debut, but it was a debut. Nothing, very memorable from it, but they didn't embarrass themselves either. Devin Davis, by the way, can't overlook this. 16 boards tonight. Devin was all over the place. You get the feeling that these guys realize that somebody has to step up, really, take control of the glass, really, just play physical underneath. And Devin Davis was that guy tonight. You team him with, perhaps a more refined Hunter Mascara-Perea this year, and it could get pretty interesting. That sort of tandem. And again, the big if is what Mascara-Perea gives this team right now, and we don't know because he's not here. But assuming that he sort of makes any sort of development forward, and he just continues his development into the kind of player that everyone saw coming up as a recruit, and you team it with an effort like Devin Davis tonight, and it could get pretty interesting for the Hoosiers underneath. I mean, obviously they're not going to have the size that they want, come Big Ten play, but you get those two guys playing well together, and maybe it's not so bad after all. Wait a couple days. We'll see how this tour sort of unfolds as far as, the different playing styles and whatnot. But you saw some pretty good ball movement tonight. You saw Yogi sort of leading it. James Blackman took control a little bit. And we'll sort of see how that develops as this tour goes on. There's an off day tomorrow. Well, excuse me. I'm probably watching this on Saturday. There's an off day Saturday. They get back in action on Sunday, I believe, against University of Ottawa. And that is across the river. I didn't know Montreal was an island, by the way. It's an island. Anyway, off day Saturday. Sunday they play Ottawa. Monday is the big game against Carleton. That's over in Ontario. That's the team that beat Wisconsin last year, took Syracuse to overtime. Just a really good team. They won the Canada National Championship last year. I think they've won 10 of the last 12, something like that. So there are some good teams on deck. Laval was definitely a nice team to open with. Gave Indiana, it was a physical game. I mean, they played physical, played hard. Made Indiana work for all their early baskets until the talent and skill took over. But good team to open with if you're Indiana. So it'll get a little tougher from here, and we'll sort of check in on Sunday afternoon. So thanks for watching. Pray for me. Hope I can catch the bus downtown next time. Transportation is tough, I guess. I don't know. It's late. I got to go to bed. See you guys.